everyone, welcome back to Pregaming with McKenzie and Emilee. I'm McKenzie,
And I'm Emilee.
and we're going to be recapping last weekend's NWSL Challenge Cup games and previewing this midweek games. So, starting with Houston and Chicago, we had both picked Chicago to win. It ended in a 0-0 tie. The game was pretty even. I think Chicago had 52% of the possession and Houston had 49. I think for Houston, they're not going to be happy. They had 0 shots on target. Clearly something that then you're going to have to work on next game. But for me, Gabby Seiler was the best player for them. I thought she did really well in the midfield. Obviously, she got traded there in the offseason. So for her first game with the Dash, I thought she was the one holding them together. And Katie Naughton also did well at center back for me. Chicago, I thought Danny Colaprico and Morgan Bryan, who have always been their kind of players in the midfield, also did a solid job. And Chicago is going to be good. I think they just have to find someone who's going to score for them, which I think is going to be Kalia Watt. Kalia Watt's going to do pretty well this season, I think.
Yeah, I know. I couldn't agree more with that. I will say, a 0-0 score, it's a little bit of a letdown for a rematch of, last year's championship game. But I think Chicago looked really good. Like you were saying, they just need to find someone that'll put it in the back of the net. My player of the game is going to be Houston's goalie, Lindsay Harris, though. Because like we were saying, not a lot of opportunities for the Dash, but a lot of big stops on her end.
Yeah, I agree. I think she definitely had one that a ball got put back in after a free kick opportunity. She definitely made a good save there. That could have easily been 1-0. So I was happy for her stepping in Jane Campbell's place, which I can imagine isn't easy. Yeah, so she definitely did good. And I think once Chicago can get Mallory Pugh back, I think they could be firing on all cylinders for sure.
No doubt. All right, so going into the Thorns versus KC game, pretty exciting game. I think the Thorns came out really hot. Beautiful service by Klingenberg. And they're just looking pretty solid this year. KC as well. I mean, it was a pretty well fought game. I just think the difference again was in just putting it together on the attacking side. It was really nice to hear fans in Portland again, and
yes.
Of course towards the end got a little chippy, but
NWSL After Dark was activated for sure with 4 red cards in less than 10 minutes. Yeah, definitely. I think the announcers had said there had never been more than 2 red cards in one NWSL game, so 4 in 10 minutes is, NWSL After Dark was for sure activated. I agree. Klingenberg played great for them. I thought, A-Rod scoring Kansas City's first goal was very fitting, as that's where she was before they went to Utah. And I thought, so A-Rod and Vasconcelos for Kansas City were my 2 people for Kansas City, definitely.
So like I was saying last week, A-Rod's obviously going to be very fun to watch this season. I could not have expected anything else from her in the first game. She's really tying together in the front. But my pick for the player of the match is going to be the other Rodriguez, Rocky Rodriguez.
Yeah, I had her written down.
Yeah, of course, the first goal of the season for them was awesome. But if she ended up netting that top of the 18 goal, that would have just been insane. But I really liked what I saw from her, and I can't wait to keep watching for the rest of the season.
Yeah, no, I really like her. She's awesome on the ball. And when she shot that, I thought it was going in. That would have been probably goal of the season right there in the first game. So definitely was a fun game to watch for sure. Then next we had North Carolina Courage versus Washington Spirit. Courage win 3-2. We were both wrong about that pick. Sorry, Courage, that I doubted you. I thought that Washington came out, they scored in the first 5 minutes with a good goal. And I was like, oh, this could go downhill quick, but the Courage definitely did not get down and they kept going. I thought Jessica McDonald getting on the scoreboard, was great. I thought Carson Pickett played really good on defense. Dabinia is always just great in the midfield. I think she's top 3 player in the WSL, and she's just going to be solid for you every single game. So I thought they definitely fought. And then on Washington, I thought Natalie Jacobs did really well. Trinity Rodman, who we kind of highlighted last week as someone who was going to have to be big for them, obviously comes into her first game at 18 years old, scores a goal, makes it 3-2, and kind of put the game back to get a little bit more exciting towards the end. So yeah, I thought that was one of the more exciting games for sure this weekend too.
Yeah, no doubt. And it's just great to see Trinity Rodman, just scoring in her
Yeah.
debut because 18 years old, we obviously all know who her dad is, so the pressure's already high. So just for her to put one in the net in her first game was just awesome to see.
Yeah,
Um,
I'm excited to see her the rest of the season for sure.
me as well, and also like you were saying, big game for McDonald. I think we saw her in the World Cup barely, sort of as a bench player. So I think her really stepping into her role as the pacemaker on this NWSL team has been really awesome to see. So she's going to be my player of the match. However, Davina was just getting unlucky, and I think if she got one of as many attempts in, she would have been my pick. But definitely one of the more fun games to watch this past weekend.
Yeah, I agree. Davina had a few chances, which I think 9 out of 10 times she puts in, and I think we'll see a goal from her in their next game for sure. And I thought Kristen Hamilton also did well up top. Someone who doesn't always get as much playing time with the roster that they had in previous years, but with their departures, I think she's going to be huge for them this year too. So definitely a good game
for sure.
All right, and shout out Merritt Mathias because that was her first game back from tearing her ACL since 2019. Comes in, scores a chip goal, was awesome. So yeah, I was happy for her for sure.
Well, me too, and just the celebration and just the energy.
It was awesome. They were so happy for her. Yeah,
really a huge one. And it was a go-ahead goal too. So
yeah,
it's just one. All right, and then the final game here we're covering are the new kids, Louisville versus Orlando, which ended in a 2-2 tie. Me and McKenzie were talking about this game before, and we were just saying it was really cool to see Louisville just get on the field, and they just showed that they came to play and weren't messing around at all. I know LaRue got an early chance in the first couple of minutes, and I think if that went in, that would have been a huge momentum changer, but thankfully for them didn't go in. Yeah, it was really fun to watch this Louisville team because we don't really know anything about them. Yeah, it was just really fun to watch. They met my expectations, honestly exceeded them. I know I picked them to win.
They exceeded. I picked them to lose, sorry, but they definitely exceeded my expectations too. They came out right off the gate firing. I thought, Yuki could have had 2 goals right there in the beginning, which usually she would tuck away, but I think that showed right off the bat, like, they were here to play and they don't care that they're the new NWSL team. They still have high standards to go in and win every single game and compete. So
yeah, for sure. So I think like you were saying, Nagasato missed a couple of easy opportunities. Once they get all those pieces going together, I think they're going to be, serious trouble. One of my earlier picks for them, McCaskill played great. Obviously had that kick, to tie the game up at the end. Serviced the ball perfectly into the box, and they were able to find an open player in Hendricks. But also on the other end, for Orlando, it is just so fun to still see Marta on the field, I think.
Yes.
So I have my Brazil jersey on. So shout out Marta. Her ability to just see the field. She played that amazing ball through the middle, and they were able to get a Kim goal out of it. Was just awesome to see. But I will say, player of the match is a tough one. I might just go with Hendricks for the tying goal.
Yeah, no, that goal, and for her to be a center back and to score a game-winning goal, I think you could just tell in her reaction, like, your first not her first NWSL game, but the team's first NWSL game at home. Their fans were awesome. After she scored, the lighting effect that was going on just made it 10 times better. But yeah, that was definitely a great game. I agree. She was fantastic. Obviously, McCaskill is just solid out there. I thought for Orlando, Sydney Leroux looked great. I think she is going to have a comeback year. Obviously, she's had 2 kids in the last few years, but I think this year for sure is going to be her year. They obviously added Jade Moore in the midfield, and I think that's the type of player that they need just to hold down the midfield. I think she's going to be good going forward. And like you said, Marta, I mean, I hope she never retires, or at least not for another 5 years. But yeah, always fun to watch for sure. But yeah, I'm going to say McCaskill probably for Louisville, my player of the match. But I also thought Lauren Millay did really good, coming from the courage where she had to play behind Mewis and Dunn and Dabinia. That's obviously not easy, but I think on this team, she's really going to be able to show how good she is if she continues to get a starting role. And then shout out to Cece Kaiser for getting the first ever goal for the club. That has to be exciting for sure.
Huge moment and a great goal.
Yes. Yep. So yeah, I think we can both agree, and everyone would agree, that Louisville is going to be a competitive team in this league. That's definitely what they showed in that first game. So all right, so now we're going to do our predictions for next week. So first up, Orlando versus Gotham FC. For me, I have Gotham FC winning the whole tournament, so I'm going to pick them to beat Orlando.
All right. I really liked what I saw from Orlando this past weekend, so I'm just going to go with them. I'd love to see LaRue get a goal.
Yes, I agree. I hope LaRue scores, but that they do not win. And then Washington, Louisville. After seeing Louisville play this week, I'm going to pick Louisville to beat Washington. Washington also did look very well, but I'm going to go with Louisville.
Tough. I'm going to agree with you, though. Like I was saying earlier today, I think they're going to be my favorite team this season just because, we know nothing. They have nothing to lose, only things to prove. So going with Louisville as well.
All right. And then Chicago, Portland. I'm going to say Chicago because I think they're going to be disappointed that they didn't score in their first game. So I think they're going to try and come out firing on all cylinders and that they're going to beat Portland. And Portland will be missing, they'll be missing Simone Charlie up top. Unfortunately, she got 2 yellows. So yeah, I think Chicago.
I'm going to go with Portland on this one. I do have them going all the way, but I'm going to go with them because of how the last game ended. I think they're going to be extra fired up, going in and just carry the momentum of a huge win as well.
Yeah. So yeah, I think that will be a fun one to watch for sure. That could be the game of the week. Then last, OL Reign versus Houston. So OL Reign, first game of the tournament for them. This is hard because I think Houston is gonna be very disappointed that they didn't even get a goal or a shot on goal. But I think the Reign are gonna win this one. I think they're having to wait the longest to play, and I think they're just gonna be fired up and ready to go. And I think I'm gonna call Bethany Balser scoring a brace, and they're gonna win. So that is my prediction.
All right. This one's tough because obviously, like you were saying, we haven't seen the Reign. I was a little let down by the Dash this past weekend, but I'm going to pick them and hope that this week they just, do a full 180 and maybe, put some big numbers up on the board rather than 0.
Yeah, I think they're going to I do think Houston is going to come out firing. I think they do. Granted, they're missing 6 international players who are in the starting lineup, but they still have the talent to go out there and win and score for sure. So I think that they are going to be fired up, and I think that one will also be a close game, but sticking with the Reign.
All right.
And that is it for this week. Thank you for joining us, and we'll be back next week. So see you then.